Welcome back to Casual Camping and Outdoors. Today, the boys and I, meaning we also have William, John's brother. Hey William.
Hi.
Out here with us. We're going to be doing a knife review out here, and this is also William's first trip to the Bayard Conservation Area, so stick with us and we'll have some fun. We'll be taking a look at the Condor Moonshiner. Now this is a big beefy blade with a 9-inch blade, 14 3/4 inch overall length. It's also made out of 1075 high carbon steel, similar to the Mini Dooku that we took a look at last time. And like all Condors, it comes with a very good leather sheath. So, like in all our knife reviews, we're going to cover 4 points: price, factory edge, factory sheath, and performance. At the time of the making of this video, this knife runs about $67 on Amazon. There's a link down below if you're interested in purchasing one of these. Now the factory edge, at least to my fingers, feels very sharp. So John, coming close here, we're going to give this what Brian Stevens calls the Redneck sharp test and see if it will shave hair. And if you can see that,
yeah, they can see it.
It shaves hair just fine. Now, like most of the Condors that I own, this comes with a fantastic leather sheath. It's in that same dark brown leather, and to the best of my knowledge, it's the only sheath option you can get this knife with. But this is a very high quality leather sheath with a swivel type belt loop, and I've been super happy with their sheaths. If you've ever resheathed a knife, which means you bought the knife, you didn't like the sheath, you had to buy a different sheath for it, you know that a good leather sheath can run a pretty penny. So for $67 to come with this quality of sheath, I'm rather impressed. So you can see there's a few stains on this. We've been playing with it a little bit so far. So we've got a piece of dead pine here. We're going to see how this knife chops. And she does just fine. How it carves. This is that piece of pine we just cut off. Now this wood is wet because it stormed all night last night. And it's stripping the bark off of that tree just fine. Alright, we're going to cut this piece off and we'll see if this knife will baton it. It bites into that wood really well. Now let's cut that one some more. Maybe I shouldn't chop so hard, it bites too deep. And it cuts that wood just fine. I do like this little, I don't even know what you call that, piece of the pommel there, because when you got a hold of it, it keeps it from slipping out of your hand.
It kind of looks like a bird.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a bird. Tweet, tweet. But I really like that. I haven't got a lanyard on it yet. There is a lanyard hole. It's pinned with a brass pins, and then it's got a lanyard hole here as well. And this is a full tang knife. So let's see about batoning some of this wood. And you probably heard William just decided to fall out of a tree. Alright, well, even the inside of this wood is fairly wet. But we're going to feather some and see if maybe we can get it to light.
I doubt we can because it's wet.
We are going to give it a try, but let's see how it feathers. So we got a sharp edge of the stick here. Let's see if we can make some curls. And it seems to curl just fine.
I'm liking this knife so far.
Yeah, I'm liking this knife so far as well. It's got a drop point style blade, as you can see. And this is 1075 high carbon steel, which means you do need to protect the blade from rusting, which means you need to wipe it off when you're done, put a little oil on it, something of that nature, but you're going to need to protect the blade.
Especially with these wet woods.
Especially with these wet woods, exactly right. Alright, let's see if we can strike a fire steel. Feathers that we carved off of here, we're going to see if we can get how good this spine is for scraping. And we are getting some scrapings, but I can't say that this is the best
Knife for scraping.
Yeah, it's not. It's doing it, but it ain't doing it real well. So we do have some scrapings there, but I'm kind of doubting that's going to strike a fire steel, but we're fixing to find out. So we have a fire steel here, ferro rod. We've got our knife. Like I said, that spine doesn't feel super sharp to me, so let's see. Well, we're getting some, but not a whole lot of spark. Let's try it on our pile here. Try that closer to the tip.
Oh, Mayor.
No. I meant the tip of the knife.
Oh.
No worries. Alright, let's try this again. We're just not getting a whole lot of sparks with this spine.
Or it might just be the wet wood.
It could just be the wet wood. It's true. Well, let's try an old woodsman's trick. Into another type of tinder, we're going to try to strike this ferro rod with our open eel number 8. Open eels have a very good spine. It's one of the best ferrocerium rod strikers that I've ever used. If you're going to use it with the knife open, make sure that you've rotated this little collar to where the knife blade is locked so you don't close it on your hands when you're striking your ferrocerium rod. So let's see if we can get this going with our open eel, and then we can decide whether that spine on the Condor just wasn't sharp enough, or if it's really the wet wood, or maybe even user error. As you can see, we're getting a lot more spark with our open eel. And there's been a few times where it's wanted to catch. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to scrape some of this ferrocerium off. See if we can, if you do it real slow, you can do it without sparking the ferrocerium. And put some of that ferrocerium into your tinder. And this ferro rod is really soft, so it sparks very easily.
I think it's just the wet wood.
Might be just the wet wood, so let's try to make us a little bit finer of a bird's nest. Okay, we've made us a little bit of a bird's nest here. Just some grass and fibrous dead plant material I found. Put this in amongst our shavings. We're going to get our condor. There's just not enough spark coming off of that. Alright, I guess it's just not going to happen with this wet tinder. Alright, so in conclusion, John and I really like this knife. It's got good quality materials. The fit and finish has been done very well. There's no recessed areas between the handle scales and the curvature of the handle. It chops well, it slices well, has a great sheath, has a good factory edge. This spine though, however, if they're going to make a sharp spine on a knife, it ought to be sharp enough to strike a ferro rod, but a few minutes with a file you could fix that. But I don't know, I get less than enthusiastic about a knife that I have to fix right out of the box. But overall, if you're not going to use it as a striker on your ferro rod, it's a terrific knife. A Bowie style knife with a good sheath, a good carry system. It rides nice and deep in that sheath. It's got good retention. The only criticism I would have would be that spine could be a little bit sharper. Well, as always, thanks for joining us in Casual Camping and Outdoors, and we'll see you in the next one.